Actually, if you want to come back here and look at it, you see how it's, it's boiling now, but it's nice and clear. It's non-volatile. But the reason why we want to do this, and the reason why we want to sanitize, we're doing this to basically kill bacteria. And the reason we're sanitizing, and let's be clear, sanitizing is different than sterilizing.
Mm-hmm.
When you sterilize, you're killing all bacteria, and that's something you're only going to get in a hospital,
Right.
At best. For brewing, you don't have to have, completely sterilized. Sanitized is all you need. Basically, you're killing almost all of the bacteria. I mean, literally from the time I take that plastic wrap off the top, whatever little air gets in there, there's going to be bacteria in it. And it's everywhere. So with regards to the yeast, these are all pure strain yeast cultures. Okay, so this particular one, what we got here, it's 1099 white bread. So it's a specific strain of yeast that occurs over in England. So that's what we're going to use for this particular batch. And we were just talking a few minutes ago about like over in Belgium, open fermentation and things like that. It's just like they have a very specific strain of yeasts, various different strains, wild yeasts and, specific strains of yeast and bacteria that just naturally occur in the air in Belgium. But that's what creates those magical beers that you really can't do anywhere else. Now brewers and these brewing companies, yeast companies, they've gotten really good with very specific cultures, so we can kind of mimic it on the home brewing level or on like the larger scale brewing level. But the reality is you can never really totally nail a Belgian beer unless you're in Belgium. You get close, but that's because that's what they have. It's just kind of like you can't make Scotch anywhere other than Scotland.
Right.
They still are puzzled by that, but the whole idea is sanitation. Brewing really, the single most important thing in brewing is being clean, sanitized. Other than that, it's really as simple as boiling water. That's what we're doing here. That's really all it is, and then you're just throwing stuff in it. If you can boil water, you can brew beer, as long as you're clean. So that's
cleanliness.
Cleanliness is next to godliness.
And you're with us, so. Now we're cooling it. Oh, and also the most important thing is you got to drink while you're doing all this, because otherwise it's not the same.
And yes.
And Prost.
We're doing that. Alright, so now we're at the end of the boil here. Pretty much we've killed off everything. Now it's a race. What we have to do is we have to cool this down, and it's a race between microorganisms. We have to get this cooled down to about 72 degrees approximately, as fast as possible, and then we have to pitch the yeast from these packets in there so that this is the dominant microorganism. We don't want bacteria to be that.
Right.
Once the yeast get involved, and what they do is they create an environment that no other microorganism can live in. They pretty much suck all the oxygen out of it, and nothing else can live in it. Only they can live in it. Then they get all drunk and fall to the bottom. So.
Ice, baby.
They have more sophisticated pieces of equipment for this kind of job, and we will show you one of those pieces of equipment when we're actually doing on a larger scale. It's called a wort chiller, but we're just doing a little bit right here. So
just in case you don't have one of those laying around your house.
We're not doing an immersion wort chiller. Just gonna try to cool it with an ice bath.
Snap, crackle, pop.
So this will probably take, 10-15 minutes.
And with the magic of what we can do, we'll be back in.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a weight on top of this to just kind of hold it down. So I'm going to go back and grab something.